Okay, Simon Reish Ayin Tes. Dinei Tiltul Haner b'Shabbos. So moving candles and lamps on Shabbos. Says the Mechaber Sif Aleph. Ner she'adliku b'Yis Shabbos. If you have a lamp, a candle which is lit for that Shabbos, Afa Pisha Kova, even though it's now extinguished, it's burnt out, Osa L'taltalei, you can't move it. V'chein Moisa Hashemen she'b'ner she'adliku b'Yis Shabbos. So too you got a lamp where you've got a bowl of oil, and it's now gone out. Also, you can't benefit or use it or use the oil that's left over that Shabbos. Says the Mishnah Berurah. Even there's no oil left in at all. You can still, it's muktzah. Why is that? Since when it was lit at Ben Hashmoshes, you couldn't move it. Because it all becomes the shemen and the psila all becomes a bosses for the flame. And that's the standard rule. Now, if you have got, you're worried about a non-Jewish person, that there is a light in the house, and maybe, like I said just before, there's a rag to a bull, maybe there's a bandit in town who's going to come when he sees a lit home, there's money there or whatever it may be. Like it was a problem in the Zman of the Amoraim, of the time of the Gemara. That would be their hakbada, and that you weren't allowed to light a candle on the day of their festival. Then, once it's gone out, you're allowed to move it away, and you've removed the evidence. That's the Shiltei Giborim. If you're worried it's going to beat you up, or financially it's going to hit you, then you're allowed to. Okay. And not only oil, but even a candle, which is half burnt out or something like that, you can no longer move it on Shabbos. And so too, if you've got a bowl of oil and the light goes out, you can't take some of that oil and put it on your salad on Shabbos lunch. Since it was muktzah at the onset of Shabbos, you couldn't take it whilst it was still lit. Why not? If you take away some of the oil, which is the supply of the light, that's a problem of mechaber, you're extinguishing it. We said previously. So too, it's muktzah, and therefore you cannot touch it even after it's gone out. Since you can't therefore use it, therefore you can't touch it, it's also l'taltal.
Touch it, you can't move it.
Yeah, that's always the case of muktzah. Yeah, that's always the case of muktzah. Yeah. Okay, let's just do one more sif. Base. Ner zeh she'amarnu she'osel l'taltal. This candle we said you can't move. Afilu l'tzorech gufa l'tzorech mekoymei also. Even if it's l'tzorech gufa l'tzorech mekoymei. V'yesh mi shehita. There are those who are matir. Now that's more chomer, which we'll discuss in the Mishnah Berurah. Because normally something which is muktzah, if it's tzorech mekoymei, tzorech gufa, you're allowed to. Yeah, you've got a hammer on a chair, your Shabbos table, and you want to move the chair. You want to move the hammer. You're allowed to. Muksa machmas gufay machmas mekoymei. You're allowed to. What? It's on the chair. Yeah.
You want the chair.
You want the chair, right? So, but here you can't. V'yesh mi shehite. For the niru dvarov. But we don't reckon that lenient opinion. Says the Ramah v'yesh yomim demishu istanis v'aner moisolov. Someone who's very particular, and the empty candle, the lamp, is repulsive for him. Mutalot tziyoi to have it today. Kagraf shel rei is considered repulsive and therefore is allowed to move it. V'hamachmir lo hifsit. Okay, now we'll see what that means in the Mishnah Berurah. Says the Mishnah Berurah. V'afilu l'tzorech. So even l'tzorech gufay mekoymei you can't move it. V'lo domi l'shar kli shemelachta le'isa. This is not the same as a regular kli shemelachta le'isa. to mutal ataltal l'tzarech gufay, where you can, or commodities of a shim and shinches sif gimel, which is hilchas muktzah. To hach the kim the ben hashmoshes, so you also ataltal af l'tzarech gufay mekayma. Here the difference is that at ben hashmoshes you couldn't move this even the tzarech gufay mekayma. Therefore, to have a boss is l'shaleves. And therefore, since it was totally muktzah ben hashmoshes, therefore it's totally muktzah the rest of Shabbos. It doesn't make a difference if it's a bowl of the oil or a proper candelabra or something like that. It all becomes a bosses for the neiros. Istanis. If, however, the guy is an istanis, then the Ramah says it's got a din of graf shel rei and mutalot tziyah. Says the Mishnah Berurah, hey, va'abach u'mogen avram posku. Af mi she'ein istanis. Even if someone is not an istanis, he just thinks it's just not so nice. It's a burnt out kli, on the table. Shari l'salka mi'al hashulchan. You're allowed to remove from the table. U'mashma bach to lo hekel el b'neshel cheres. The kula is only a neshel cheres, not a nice silver candelabra. Shehu mos bevadai uchel kam sivov. And so too wood. But if it's metal, that's not considered moist. Okay. Moist olav. He can't tolerate that you've got an empty bowl which is now burnt out. He just can't palate that it's on the table. Then it's in the place where he sits, and therefore you can move it. But if it's in a different room, then not. Even the istanis, if it's not in your way, it's not bothering you, then you can't move it. And then, interestingly, the remark concludes, so what does that mean? Says the Mishnah Berurah, it changes everything. You want to be machmeh, but if you're mekel, you haven't lost out. So that's why it's a different reading to what the Ramah says. The Ramah says, "V'machmeh lo hifsid." It says the Mishnah, what he means is, the machmeh, you want to be machmeh, you be machmeh, but the mekel person lo hifsid. Okay, let's say that. Let's leave it at that.